I'm Pastor Jeff Milston. My 25 years of ministry, I prepared and led at least 7 workshops, dozens of class series, and preached over 1,000 sermons. The workshop, class, and sermons that include God Matters Today gets the most positive responses and has the most impact for faith of anything I have done. Also, at least one study that I've read of why people leave the church say that many leave because they believe God does not matter in our lives today. Maybe creation and resurrection, but not today. Sharing with people that God matters in our lives today, with many examples, helps confirmation students, high school youth groups, and adults experience the reality that God matters in their own lives. This helps their faith lives and possibly keeps them involved in the church. I have prepared and used a number of teaching materials that's available on the internet, on the site that says godmatters.weebly.com, that often help people connect with God. This website includes the scripted workshop, 4 teaching sheets, a packet of varied examples from many people, and 17 plus sheets of examples to be used as discussion starters, along with dozens of more in-depth write-ups of various historical and current national and world examples that can be used in classes, sermons, and possibly put in the church newsletter. Always with my material, use it as it is or adjust it and make additions as you see fit. Personally, I use the following progression. I have the workshop for the congregation. Now, when I do the workshop, I have various aspects, obviously, but I use myself as an example to share that while I knew God was in my life in many ways, I not shared this, significantly at least, in my sermons or my teachings. Now, not as an excuse, but as a reality. As I've used this more and more, I've also realized that I don't think I ever heard this topic in 20 years of being a Lutheran church member, 2 years during college and Episcopal church, or at both Lutheran and Catholic seminaries where there was preaching every day. We need to do this. We need to share this. A lot of people have told me, well, this is obvious. Yes, it is to many, but not to all. In fact, a lot of people have told me that this opened up their eyes to God, or that it expanded what they thought before. But I have had a few get upset, basically saying, you can't say this is true because I don't experience it. And then I try to help them to realize, well, a lot of people do. Personally, I think you do. But you just don't realize it because you never thought about it. And it takes practice. It takes looking. And that's part of what the workshop is all about, helping people to understand that. Now, when I do the workshop, I start from the largest and then get down to the personal. So I start with historical cases, world cases, national cases of God changing things. But then I move to how God affects all people in their lives, and then down to the very personal, individual cases. Sometimes huge miracles, absolutely, but mostly sharing day-to-day examples. How God touches our lives in ways we usually don't even notice, but are real. And helping to see them and then seeing them enhances our lives. After I do the workshop, I then include the topic more in sermons and classes. I have a short class of 4 units to teach how to do this. And then I have a packet of examples, of varied examples, to go through and discuss and just share. And then 12 plus just intro sheets to start discussions. Use those as you see fit. In my experience, Children pick this up real easy. I use them in children's sermons. Most, yet not all, middle school students and high school students pick it up very easily when I just share at the start, but definitely when I go into it more depth. Many adults pick it up quickly, and many take a little while to discern what's going on, and that's fine. But always do point out that some adults will never see this, and that's okay. That's just what happens sometimes. But those adults can listen to others' examples in their church, in the world, or quite honestly, in a lot of books at Christian bookstores, and get faith from that. 2 suggestions as you do this. 1, I personally use primarily the term God throughout the whole workshop, rather than saying Father or Jesus or Holy Spirit. I do that because in a number of my churches, when I say Holy Spirit, it gets some people, sorry to say, put off. But most people use the terms, all of them, to help people realize God in all his ways is part of our lives. Second, not seen in the 2-hour video presentation, but always done, is gathering afterwards over lunch, snacks and coffee, whatever, and the people present sharing with each other how God is present in their personal lives. This makes it far more real and helps people to go, this is normal. It usually happens fairly comfortably after the workshop. Not everyone shares, but many do. There's 2 ways of sharing. I most often pass out half sheets of paper and pens and ask people to write a summary. Then I read the various ones turned in, and that way they're short, clear, hopefully, and we can listen quickly and then just talk about how God is in our lives generally. Another way to do it is just have open sharing, which I do after I do the half sheets. But sometimes, if you want to, just do the open sharing if no one wants to do the half sheets. When you do that, I would suggest, but your call, have a 2-minute or 3-minute time limit, because people can go on and on about their experiences, and that's okay one-on-one, but sometimes people get annoyed when it goes on too long in a large group. Make sure that you have someone keeping time other than the presenter, and just give a 30-second notice, that type of thing. People like to hear this. Many people like to share it, because God is in our lives every day in many ways. Thank you.